I know how it is to sit on the opposite side of the table and not have. I've had ramen noodles. I've had Campbell's soup made out of ketchup. So it's not fun, and I get it. So first, solve your monetary problems. Make 50, 60 grand. I get that piece. But then when you start giving, it comes full circle, man. And when it starts coming full circle, and you just don't lose employees, and even B or C players, they start becoming A players because they want more. As long as you're coaching them correctly, and they got an ear to talking to, and they can walk in your office and say what's bothering them, and they're at least open and curious to ideas. And I could talk about this the whole time because I'm so passionate about them. I don't even want to call them employees. They're coworkers. They're my internal customers.
Welcome to the Lion's Den, hosted by Lance Bachman.
Hey everybody, Bill Rossell here in the Lion's Den today from a remote location in Phoenix from the original den. We happen to be at A-1 Garage Doors, the home of Tommy Mello, the Home Service Millionaire. How's it going, Tommy?
It feels good to be in the cow's den today.
The Lion's Den.
Well, this is a new den.
Thanks again for having us out here to the A1 Garage Doors headquarters. Obviously it's been a situation where we have been talking a lot lately, just about different things. We're always brainstorming ideas. And I said, hey, listen, I want to come out, just sit down, do a Lion's Den out here in Phoenix. And, you gave us an incredible tour of the entire establishment. So from soup to nuts, probably one of the most impressive facilities that I've seen in the home service space, the way that the people are, most importantly. And so what I want to do is talk a lot about a lot of different things today that really kind of isolate who you are, where you're going, how you're going to get there, what's going to go on, that's going to help you to grow and specifically be in a situation where you're going to be the first $1 billion garage door company. So tell me a little bit about, in our audience, a little bit about how you got started in this crazy business.
Yeah, so, born and raised in Michigan, 17 in Ryan, Sterling Heights. And my dad was always an entrepreneur. He's fixed transmissions for a long time, cars, and then he decided to start his own transmission shop. And so I learned a lot about just the struggles of owning a business, man. I mean, when he was around, it was golden time. It was great. But there was a lot of times he couldn't make it to places. And business is not for the faint at heart. So I wanted to be like Dad. I started mowing lawns, selling lemonade stands, doing what I could, pick weeds. I sound like my grandpa, but it's true.
Right.
Shoveled snow. And one day, me and my buddy started E&T, Elliot and Tommy Landscaping. Made some decent money, but started washing dishes when I was 12 at Rookies Clubhouse. Moved to Phoenix when I was 16 to get my residency here. Started a landscaping business here, was bussing tables, doing all this crap. One thing I've realized is every time I go on vacation, every time I went back to visit my mom, I didn't make money. So I knew I was doing something wrong. So my buddy started working at a garage door company, got the opportunity to do some ride-alongs with him, and we became partners in 2007. Started this off, didn't know anything. We were the janitors, the tax advisors, the CSRs, the dispatchers, the inventory specialists, the marketing experts, and jack of all trades, master of none. I ran all the jobs. He answered the phones. He'd come on a lot of jobs. 2010, we just didn't see eye to eye on some stuff. We're still best friends to this day. I took on the debt, actually. 2012, I ended up getting my master's degree. 2014, I ended up hiring my right hand. I mean, literally, I'm the visionary. He's the integrator.
Okay.
And now the business, his name is Adam, so we call it the TNA show. And, now things are good. We've got amazing integrators all around. And we've really top-graded a lot of seats. And, the sky isn't the limit anymore. I'd say, the galaxy now is the limit.
Right. So you obviously, have this massive sprawling location that we've been in, and people know you in this space because you run a great podcast, and it's a situation where your business is growing. You got people calling you for advice all the time on the professional side of things as far as, how do I grow my business? How am I going to be the next Tommy Mello? How am I going to be able to learn from where you've gone? And you continue to grow and put yourself in a position to say, I'm going to help people.
Yeah.
That's the reason you wrote the book.
Yeah.
To help people. But what I want to do is, I always start off every den with random questions that I get to throw at the guest.
Yeah.
So, for those that know you on social media, know that you have a dog, Finnegan.
Yeah.
Okay. What made you choose that particular breed of dog?
Okay, so it's a Cavapoo, and he's an amazing dog. My sister lives in Milwaukee, Whitefish Bay to be exact, and she's got this little dog, and I fell in love with it. Her name's the boy dog named Scout.
Right.
And Bree, my girlfriend, met the dog, and I love the dog, and they ganged up on me. And one day, my sister's got a big mouth, and I love her. Thank you, Kia. She said, "Hey, listen, you got to see this little dog. It's the last one left." And Bree was like, "We need to get it." And I'm like, "This is a big responsibility. You know, this is 15 years minimum of our lives. You know, some people get pets and like, ah." I'm like, "No, this is." Then I
It's like buying a house.
It is. And I made her go into a Google Doc and create 20 statements of what she was going to do for the dog, because that's who I am. And she said, "I will walk the dog." None of it's actually happening, but I'm walking the dog, and I love the dog. She's the best mom ever, though. Great dog. So anyway, she flew to Milwaukee. They went and picked it up 2 hours away, and then we worked on the name, and Finnegan it was, because it was just a cool name, and I love that dog, man.
You do. You can see it. You can see it on social. Here's my question. Recently, you started posting about 75 Hard.
Yeah.
Tell everybody a little bit about what 75 Hard is and why you made the decision to kind of go down that path.
Well, I work with a couple people that are doing it, and I work with a couple business owners that are doing it. And 75 Hard is basically, it's one workout inside or outside, however you choose to do it. The second one has to be outside. One of them for 45 minutes has to be outside. You got to take a picture every single day, usually. I mean, hopefully if you're a guy without a shirt off. You've got to, no alcohol. You've got to, no cheat meals. You've got to be on some sort of diet. It doesn't matter what diet. And you got to read 10 pages of a non-fictional book, not on Audible, every single day. And it's 75 days straight. And there's no breaks. There's no cheat meals. There's no crap.
What's been the hardest part about it? Has it been the working out? Has it been the diet? Has it been the no booze?
You know, a lot of people that know me would have said the no booze because, you know, I work hard, I party hard, but just don't hang out with those guys for a while. And that's been easy. It's only day 8 or 9 right now. Going pee in the middle of the night's been a challenge because I drink a lot of water, and it's like now I get up twice in the middle of the night. I'd say yesterday I went home and I was just long day at work, early morning, late, worked here till late, and I just felt depleted. And I only got 40 minutes in earlier, and I ended up taking Finnegan for a 70-minute walk. But it was tough. But once I got going, so it's just being true to yourself. Look, I could lie on social media. I could do whatever I want. But, you know, today I came in and Bree goes, "That shirt's a medium. Where did you get it?" And I said, "No, this is an XL." I mean, it's only 8 or 9 days. It's not like my body's transformed, but it felt good. She's like, "Oh, my God, like, you could definitely see a difference." And, you know, I'm like, wait till day 30. 30 days is when people start to notice. 30 to days 40. Because I actually worked at Gold's Gym for a long time. I was the graveyard shift. Mm-hmm. So I know how this stuff works. And it's the momentum. I made sure when I did this that there's 20 people doing it with me. We're in a group me. Mm-hmm. We're also just formed a Facebook group, and we're posting that we're doing it. And we're getting on a Zoom call twice a week because I want accountability. I want somebody to push me forward, and I want to push people forward. And it's collaboration to win together.
If you like this content and you're trying to grow your business, follow me at Lance Bachman and Lance Bachman Digital on Facebook. LFG, time to grow.
You want people to push you, and you want your teams to push you, and you want to be held accountable to it. And that's the same thing we've kind of seen here all day at the office is, from your perspective, it's a situation where you want people to push you.
You know, it's interesting because I did a 3-month fat loss for the company. Then I decided to put 5,000 in. It was 3,000, 1,500, and 500 first, second, third. And I said, all right, we're doing this, and everybody's going to get healthy and eat right and work out. But I messed up. I didn't bring the significant others in. I didn't create accountability partners. I didn't have weekly announcements. I didn't track anything. I didn't do anything on social media. So this time I went in prepared.
Right.
And I like to do the same thing in business. I went out there. I'm going to tell you guys something that I haven't told a lot of people. There's a guy named Ishmael Valdez. He owns a company called Next Gen in SoCal. He became a friend of mine, like a lot of businesses, HVAC in particular, plumbing and electrical. And we made a bet that I would do 150 million this year. When I came back here, I told everybody we need to do 150 million. Now, we're not going to hit our goal. We're not very close to our goal, actually. But I'll tell you what I did do is I set up the business, and that's in the back of my mind. Now, we bet $30,000 for a Rolex watch. So I'm buying him a Rolex watch. That Rolex watch is a fart in the wind for me. 30 grand is nothing compared to what we accomplished because everybody knew I made that bet, and they wanted to get it for me. Not because of what the watch was or the 30 grand, because, listen, they want me to win. Everybody around me wants me to be a winner, and I don't care. Listen, you know what? We might not even break 100, but here's the deal. Next year, I'm coming for gold, baby. And I don't care about the watch. You know what pressure makes? Pressure makes diamonds. So forget your gold watch, Ishmael.
Well, there you go. So you're originally from Michigan. You told us that earlier. Are you a Pistons, Lions, Devils, and Tigers fan, a 4-for-4 guy?
You got the wrong team. Who's the Devils? That's
I'm sorry, the Red Wings, excuse me.
Okay. So I love all those teams, and out of all four of them, the Lions is the only team to never win a Super Bowl. So the Tigers won the baseball, the World Series. The Pistons won the NBA championship. The Red Wings won the Stanley Cup several times. But the Lions, you got to be in favor for them, but I got to tell you, it's hard to hate the Cardinals this year. They're 7-0.
and the Lions are 0-7.
Yeah, so, the deal is I always pick my home teams, but I have a right to like both Arizona and Detroit.
So here's my other question as a follow-up. Didn't I see you at a Milwaukee Bucks game?
You did, because my sister lives there. And, the deal is...
Isn't that kind of like sacrilegious? It's like if you were a Philadelphia fan voting for a Dallas Cowboy.
But I went for my... the deal is... I go to a lot of games.
All right. It's often said that great leaders are great readers. What's the current book you're reading? Because I know you probably have 3 or 4. You got 100.
It's built to stickers. It's got a little piece of duct tape on the book. It's something built to stick, and it's a fascinating book. And I met a really good marketer who told me to read it. You can see right there. I'm going through one of the books I always read is 1,501 Ways to Reward Employees. My favorite book of all time. That's a tough one. It's tied between the E-Myth and the Ultimate Sales Machine. But I'll tell you what, the books start to blend together. But I take one thing and I run with it. And yesterday you heard me on a live earlier. Is a lot of guys say we charge more, and it talked about Nordstrom's charges more because they're better service. And I got to tell you this: if you want to learn how to charge a company, if you want to learn how to charge the business, add up all your bills, everything, pay yourself generously, 6 figures. Make sure you have the best things: insurance, new trucks, best CRM, the gamut, PTO, some type of plan for the employees to retire, and then you should make anywhere from 10 to 20%. And that should be your pricing model. It should be reversed into the profitability you need to make. Because to go after what the industry asks for, do you think most garage door companies have a COO or a CFO or a controller? Do you think they have a training center that's over 9,000 square feet? Do you think they bought a second building that's 40,000 square feet? No. So how the hell do I expect, when you work out of your own house, your wife works for free,
Right.
your son's at $12 an hour.
Right.
You don't have anything for any employees. They're all 1099. Do never talk to me about my pricing, because number one, you're an asshole boss. Not to your employees, to your family to start out with. I don't know. I wouldn't want to work for you, but.
So let's talk about that. A lot of what I've heard you say recently, besides how much you love marketing, and we'll talk a little bit about that because, one of the things I know is that you're truly into how you're marketing your business, and the garage door's the widget, and what you're doing as far as driving it, it isn't necessarily just about lead generation, okay? It's about employee generation.
Yes. 100%.
And so can you talk to our audience a little bit about where you are and what you're doing from A, generating better employees, and B, how do you reward those employees to your point of your book?
All right, here you go. Favorite topic in the world as of coronavirus. I had employees right outside of this door waiting for me as the virus hit. And they walked in one by one, and you know what they did? They said, I want to give you all my sick time. A lot of them said, I want pay deductions till this thing's over. And I said, why would you do that? They said, we don't need the money as bad as some of these people do. They said, we're going to make it through this. We're a family. We're going to stick together. And, we didn't have to go down that route, fortunately. But the fact is they did it. They didn't have to do it, and they were serious. They didn't come in saying, there was no such thing as PPP money then.
Right.
And all of a sudden it dawned on me. It was like a complete paradigm shift. I got to spend some time at home because, I got a little bit of a flu for like half a week. And, I got to really think of it. And I said, man, start paying attention more to the people. Now, don't get me wrong. The process in which we get the people is important. So I'm a big process person. But I said, oh, my God, what can we do for these people? So now all of a sudden I'm like, what else can we get? How do we enrich their lives? How do we make them involved in decision making? But here's the deal. How do I help them accomplish their goals and their dreams? So right now we're in the middle of hiring a dream manager. The dream manager works one-on-one and says, Bill, let me ask you this. What are your dreams? And you might say, well, one day I want to own a home or something. And no. Let's do this, Bill. I want you to go home. I want you to talk to your wife. I want you to really think about what you want for your kids. I want to know, is there anybody you want to spend time with and go on a special trip with? Is there anything that you need to do as your bucket list? What are the short-term, long-term? Do you want to learn a second language to your kids? Every time now, starting in this new session, we're sending all the significant others flowers because the guys are having to fly out here for a month. They're part of the team. The wives and the husbands that are involved in the CSR's dispatchers' lives are part of the team. What else can we give? I'll tell you what, I was able to get my dad a pretty nice trip to Oregon with his girlfriend. And he just got done being really, really sick, and he barely made it. So it meant a lot to me to do something nice for him. And, man, he came up to me this weekend, and he gave me the biggest freaking hug, and he says, man, I haven't had a trip like that in 20 years. He showed me pictures. I think he showed me 700. I was like, Dad, okay, I got it. I mean, he showed me the waterfall, and, man, I walked out, and I was like, Bree, I need to do more of this. Man, I need to do more. And now I'm like, what else can we do? I got to say I'm selfish for it because it makes me feel good.
Right. When
I do nice things. We just raised 25,000 bottles of water. We're raising 500 jackets in Michigan for the homeless with bottles of water here in Arizona because it gets hot, dehydrated. We did a cancer sponsorship this weekend. We're giving to the military $2,000. One of my buddies in Michigan. We're doing something in Milwaukee. We got so many things happening, and I got to tell you this. It makes me feel good because every single one of those things was brought to us by the employees. It wasn't like we went out and found it. It's not like we were like, where could we get the most media?
Right.
It was, what can we do that the employees care about? Is there a kids game that we could sponsor? The Girl Scouts. What can we do? And the more I give, it's crazy how this works. And it's easy to say because, fortunately, I've done pretty well over the last couple of years. And it's a lot easier to just sit here in this chair now with money and saying I'm giving back than it is. Because I remember there was a time where it was hard. It was like, look, I want to make sure my mom's got, some stuff. And I want to make sure my sister and her kids. So I get it. Listen, don't get me wrong. Look, I was never given a golden spoon, and the money started to work for me. Compound interest works amazingly when you do it right. I don't max out credit cards. I use my credit cards for points and stuff like that. So I made some good financial decisions, but I know how it is to sit on the opposite side of the table and not have. I've had ramen noodles. I've had Campbell's soup made out of ketchup. So it's not fun, and I get it. So first, solve your monetary problems. Make 50, 60 grand. I get that piece. But then when you start giving, it comes full circle, man. And when it starts coming full circle, and you just don't lose employees, and even B or C players, they start becoming A players because they want more. As long as you're coaching them correctly, and they got an ear to talking to, and they can walk in your office and say what's bothering them, and they're at least open and curious to ideas. And I can talk about this the whole time because I'm so passionate about them. I don't even want to call them employees. They're coworkers. They're my internal customers.
So how are you going about, talk to me a little bit about how you're going about finding those. Are you doing it internally? Do you have a full-time recruiter? What is it that you're doing to find great employees? Because and we try not to get too political in the show.
Oh, the Biden administration. Yeah.
We try not to get too political in the show. However, we know right now the job market is tough. So what are you doing to go find some of those great employees without sharing all your secrets?
No, this is it. Here's the deal. Number one, I stacked the deck. Okay, so I went on to I started thinking about this. How does a customer find me? Well, they go on Yelp, they go on Google, they go on BBB, they go on all these different sites to see what customer reviews look like. And I go, wait a minute. What do employees look at? They might look at Yelp and Google, but what do they look at? They look at Indeed and Glassdoor. I looked at mine and I was like, holy crap, it's only the negative employees that I fired that are going on here leaving crap. So I went to all my great employees and I said, can you do me a favor? And now if you look at that, I stacked the deck, I added videos, I added a bunch of things about the company and what our values are. And that really helped in the beginning. And all of a sudden we started getting classes of 15, 20 a month. And then that kind of, the job market's tough. So crazy enough, 3 months ago, a good friend of mine, Vanessa, called me. Vanessa and Jody are married. And Vanessa said, hey, listen, we're recruiting these CDLs, the truck drivers, and no one's getting them. And we're getting like 10 to 20 a month per company. And I go, oh my God. I go, what are you doing?
Right.
And she goes, listen, you're not going to believe this, but Jody figured out a way to use Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and social media. And I go, I've always tried that, but it never works. And she goes, well, and I said, don't even tell me. What do you say we fly you guys out next week? So I started with them, and they started a company called rapidhire.info. And these guys are like, dude, let me just tell you this. The candidates that are coming in, they're automatically reviewed through this thing called HireFlix. Mm-hmm. So I ask the questions. I'm like, hey, my name's Tommy Mello with A-1 Garage Doors. I was just curious. We love employees that know how to recruit. We give them $1,500 to do their own recruiting. If you get a CSR dispatcher, even someone in the warehouse, whatever it might be, we're going to give you $1,500. Do you feel like you might have people that you might be able to recruit if we decide you're the right person for the job? And I go through like 5 of these questions. What did you learn about us? What do you like about us? What don't you like? And I go through, and then if the person comes on and they got like F you on the side of their face tattooed, right. Probably not the right person. Maybe they are, but in this job market, yeah, you're hired. But overall, we started to do that, and then we started to check backgrounds, and we got 5 non-negotiables. So we go through that. Number 1, background check, clean drug test. You got to be able to come to Phoenix for a month. You got to be able to work nights and weekends, and you got to have the good driving record. So going through that. And here's the secret, is they come on, and they'll apply, but they won't fill out a lot of their information. So then a text message comes in from Finnegan. And it says, hey, my name's Finnegan. It's got a picture of Finnegan. He says, I don't get a treat unless you fill out this application. So please finish the application. We want you here at A1. And then it doesn't get filled out.
Was that your idea, Breeze?
It was my buddy Jody's. I'm not going to take his credit. And then he's got Tom Cruise with his thing, mission. Your mission, should you accept it, is to fill out the rest of this. And it's awesome because it's sending an email and it's sending a text because they opted in.
Right.
And they filled out that information. So, and then they do a ride-along for him. And the ride-along, when they do the ride-along, my lead techs are watching. How much are you on social media? Are you asking good questions? Did you show up on time? Did you smell like alcohol? Did you ask questions of the customer? What is it somebody that, and we send this out automatically every night after they do the ride-along. And these new guys are showing up. I got another 25 of them coming in here in about less than a week. And I got to tell you, every single one of them, perfect eye contact, perfect body language. I could drop a pin. They're like, hello, Mr. Mello. I'm like, you don't have to call me Mr. Mello. But I'm like,
that's my father.
Yeah, that's my dad. and I got a big thing on the wall that says what you need to do to become $1 million producer. Weekly, monthly, daily, what you need to do in revenue. And all these guys they're just ramped. They're up. They came in knowing the company. So I interview 1,000 for 25 people. But here's the secret sauce, Bill, is I'm not going to the unemployment line. They're switching jobs. They love us on social media. Here's my advice. Make your employees and your coworkers internal recruiters,
right.
Number 1. Number 2 is every time you go, have your employees go live when you take them to Topgolf. Because then let them make money doing it. Give them $1,500 and say, listen, we're buying pizza today. All I ask is you guys go live. If you love it here, go live and recruit somebody because you guys have best friends that are also A players. And they're probably not happy. It's a fact that most people are looking around for another job. They might not be going on to Craigslist and Indeed and ZipRecruiter. But if they find out there's a place that they can make good money and be happy, they'll come. So I think the best secret is don't look on Indeed and ZipRecruiter and Career Builder and Monster and LinkedIn. Just social media works, man. Where does a 25-year-old that can bench 200 pounds and work in a garage door in 120 degrees? He's on TikTok and Instagram checking out chicks.
Right.
You know,
it's interesting because you're growing so fast, but your circle of influence gets smaller and smaller with what you grow. And I saw something interesting today when we were walking around the office. It said, build a team so strong you don't know who the boss is.
Yeah, who the leader, yeah.
Who the boss
I
is.
just got goosebumps from that, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how you're developing the leadership within the organization, because, like I said, your influence where you have plans of growing, your circle of influence is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Leadership is going to be key to that growth.
You know, I sat right there, Julian sat right here, and he goes, dude, Julian's so slick. You know, he just goes, hey, you're the dude. I get it. He goes, but the one problem I don't understand is, where's your leadership going to come from? And I said, that's a great question, Julian. I'm having to go outside of home service and pull in people. I want good, you said you come from the restaurant industry. I want great restaurant. I want people that understand hospitality, customer service, and more importantly, how to take care of employees. When I worked at Cheesecake Factory, I used to get these green cards. You got a green card when you did stuff when nobody was looking, and I always did, and it was a free meal.
Right.
I mean, there wasn't a day that went by. A lot of times I bugged the manager for them, and I said, hey, if I go clean this, you know, and crap. But I'll tell you, I think the key is we just hired. I've got right now 3 consultants hired. And I just paid, for example, Janie Smith wrote a book called The Competitive Advantage. And it was like 15 grand. They came out here. We talked about the amazing, unique selling proposition of our company. We're putting it on our website. We're investing a lot into the leadership team. And we spend a lot of time, man. We do one fun trip every 2 weeks where we'll go. We went through the axes, and, you know, paintball. We do bowling. We do all kinds of fun stuff. We've got a pass to every soccer game that we paid for. It was like 20 grand. I want to be baseball games. You saw the limo bus. I want more and more of this to where. But I do notice that you could hire somebody that's already an A player, that already has the experience. That just they got to learn the processes. And I think like Starbucks does a great job of finding someone young and kind of building those values over 4 or 5 years. I kind of want, and I could do that, and I've done that, but I kind of want to find the people that already have the values, that have already gone through that process, and throw our twist on it. You know, when you go, if you ever heard of a company called Enterprise, you know they're great at sales and management. People go, you worked at Enterprise? Well, tomorrow we have our awards ceremony for the 22 guys graduating.
Right.
And we've got this beautiful thing. I sign it. It gets embossed. It's A-1 graduate. I hope, my goal in life, literally, one of my biggest treasures is that means something. That when you take that and you show people you worked at A1, that you can walk around and you can say, look, I've been to A1, and that's something special. So.
You can see how that makes you feel.
Oh, yeah. I get excited about it.
You know, one of the things, you know, you said earlier today, okay, and I think it's important to always say, you said, hey, I might be looking at my next 12 resignations.
Yeah.
Is that a little bit difficult for you to say?
You know, part of that comes from these guys signed up at a different time. It's a different company. And the one thing is that I've done is January hit. And all of a sudden, I got a 20% price increase. What did I do? I didn't wait 1 minute. I told him to increase our prices to do that. And I said, guess what? Everybody just got a raise. I'm raising our prices. And then I got another 17%. And then I got a 7%. Then I got another 26%. And every single time, I didn't wait 1 day to increase our prices. And now I'm getting people going, man, this guy's nuts. And I showed them that I raised our prices. And the thing that I've always told these guys is just no change is coming. Yes, it hurts because these guys have helped, but they become better people. And if they feel like the price, the one thing I've always learned, and one thing you'll always hear me say, is I don't hang around with victims. And if price has become what they think is important to the clients, then unfortunately this journey for them has to come to an end. And I care about them. And I pay a lot of people severance packages when they quit. No one's ever heard of that. But I care about them. I had a guy that quit, and I wrote him a check personal out of my personal checking account. And I said, dude, I love you. I know you got another job. I know you have a family. Here, take this money. It should just allow you to do something cool for Halloween for the kids. And I do that a lot, and it's not because I'm a cool guy or anything. It's because there's a lot of me that just cares. But also, I look at this. If you don't believe in me, if you don't believe in A1, if you don't believe our product, our processes are superior and we need to charge for them, because at the end of the day, I want to make 15 to 20%. Some months we don't hit that. And I'm not selfish. I want the best for every person that works with me. So if they can't understand that, the deal is, do you think I'm like, oh, yes, Bill just got another 0. Yes. Oh my God. We paid to ring the doorbell. We paid all the money for the advertising. Yes, his conversion rate sucks. Oh my God, he's the lowest ticket writer. Finally, another 1-star review. Boom. Or do you think I'm like, okay, we've had a lot of discussions, and right now you're blaming the pricing because you need somewhere to see. What I do when I fail is I look at myself, I say, Tommy, you could do better than this. You know you're better than this.
Right.
You didn't communicate well with the staff. You didn't do what you should have done. You need to work on yourself. I go buy a book, I take some personal time, and I figure it out. I internalize it, and I come back a better person. But when people can't seem to take accountability is when I know we need to go a separate way. When you can't handle the fact, I'll give you the praise when you win, but at least figure out how to handle the losses and how to, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and saying, it's pricing, it's pricing, it's pricing. I'll send 10 guys to that market and they won't complain about the pricing, either will the clients. You know what one guy said this weekend? Got in a big Facebook thing with one of my employees and he said, well, yeah, when you came out here, the guy's name is Mario, when he went out to Kansas, he goes, yeah, it was all, they were all lay down customers. It was like, so I said, wait a minute, man, I must be like right there next to the Lord or something. Because if I was able to manifest perfect clients for this one technician, all of them, for 5 days, I said, or you're nuts. Right. And I didn't say that. I didn't go on Facebook and say that, but I'm going on my mind. Holy crap. This is the United States. This is a lot of countries. This is a lot of people that just say, poor me, look at me. I am such a victim. Poor me. No one's going to pay these prices. Not when there's cheaper price out there. What do you mean? I call around. People can't get here for 3 weeks. They don't have proprietary trademark parts. What would you do for your mom's house is the question I ask them. If they don't say the best, I go, obviously you don't have a close relationship with your mom.
Right.
So you don't believe in me. You don't believe in our product. You don't believe in our processes. You don't believe in our brand new trucks. You don't believe in Service Titan. So listen, it's been a fun ride, but let's do this the right way. And if you need anything, I will vouch for you because you are an awesome person. You showed up on time. You kicked butt while you did. But listen, obviously, we're priced out of your head, and that's all that matters at this point. But it's never easy.
With that being said, you obviously have grown significantly.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about where your plans are, what you're looking to do. Where do you see A1 in the next 5 years? And then specifically, how's your role going to change as you grow?
Well, I wrote down $1 billion on this whiteboard a couple years ago, and I wrote a line, like a slant like this. The billion was right there. 100 billion, no, I'm sorry, a 1 billion. So it was 100 million, then I wrote down $1 billion. And Adam walks in and I'm in the middle of this and he starts laughing. He's like, what are you doing now? I'm like, don't worry. I'm fixing it. I'm working on something.
Right.
And so I said, wait a second here. Average tech, 500,000. We need 2,000 technicians. Okay, that gets us to $1 billion. How do I get 2,000 technicians? I wrote 5 lines for 5 years in a gap. And I said, we're going to need a training center. We're going to need a way to make the vans. We're going to need a way to get the iPads program. We're going to need the iPads monitor. We're going to need a driving system that monitors a dual camera. I freaking said all this stuff we're going to need. And then, by the way, there was a lot more we needed. And I said, we're going to need great recruiters. We're going to need amazing trainers. We're going to need constant one-on-ones like we talked about earlier. We're going to need feedback. We're going to need a sales coach. And all of a sudden, these guys that they used to go, what does Tommy got up? What's he doing now? What kind of idea does he have now? They go, oh my God, we're going to be $1 billion company. And, they have to back me up. I'm sitting on the shoulders of giants, and those are my people. That they push me up. And without them saying, yes, we can, trust me, I could do it for a while, but without them believing in me, it all falls apart. So I dream bigger. I try to do faster. And I tell people sometimes I cheat because I go visit the $500 million shops all the time. And I say it's almost like cheating because I'm learning. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm not rewriting the book. They are giving me the exact playbook of how to get there, and they're glad to answer my questions. They'll sit there and answer my questions for 4 hours. Leland Smith, service champions. He sat there with his COO, his CFO, and his CMO, and they sat there and answered questions. I was like, keep going. And they just freaking gave me the whole playbook. And now I got this whole industry. So what my job is becoming is I look at marketing now, three things. I used to say get customers. Now I say get customers. That never goes away. Get employees, the kick butt, the best in the industry, the best managers, the best financial, everything. And now get companies. Now I'm turning into an acquisition machine because I think there's divine intervention going on because obviously somebody, if you believe in the Lord Jesus, I do, and I don't want to get religious on you guys, but I'll tell you this. It's like the perfect tornado. I can still get supplies. I can make technicians. I can still get trucks when no one else can. Someone calls me up. Guy called me up the other day, sent me a screenshot of his booking rate, 25%. He's working the heck out of his guys. He can't get any employees. And I've got his answer, and he's got my answer. We can work together, and he becomes a millionaire. He keeps his health, becomes a great husband again, and a great father.
Right.
And whether that, there's a lot of women owners out there, great mother, great wife. And guess what? We all win.
Right.
And the employees win. So, in the art of the deal, if you believe in that book, there's got to be two winners. Both sides need to win. And that's first and foremost what I truly believe is we both got to win. And the cool thing is I think we devised a really, really great plan. So I'm going to be flying all over the country, getting a room together like Jim Abrams and Terry Nichols did back in the day, in the 90s. And we're just going to say, listen, if there's an opportunity for us to join forces, would that be something of interest? And here's how we both win.
Would it always stay under the A1 brand?
No, because I think people have built a great brand that have been around for 50, 60 years. And if it has been, I think the A1 brand could go dual sometimes in certain markets. It doesn't need to be because that's not the secret sauce. You see, the brand is amazing. Dan Antonelli helped us with the wraps. We've done a great job on our website. But the fact is, the secret sauce is the employees. It's the smiles.
Yeah.
It's the booking rate. It's the, these guys are all self-policing out there because they care so much about the good of the whole company. Like, if you walk out there right now, everybody's working their tail off for this event we're putting on. And I didn't tell them to do anything. You know what's so fun about that? When it was me and Adam, we used to be like, we used to have to take care of everything, make sure it was being on, create accountability, put together the delegation processes. Now it's like there's 27 things going on at this very minute just in Phoenix. You go look at our other 18 states, it's amazing.
That's awesome.
I love it.
When you talk about those 5 core values that you're looking at as far as from a recruitment standpoint, on the leadership side, do you have a set aspect that you're looking at?
So, number one, I want to know if you manage people, but the biggest thing that I've learned about a market manager, for example, is your ability to take care of people and find great people. I care about how quick you can build a team. I'm telling you this right now. A lot of people know how to perform really, really well, but they don't know how to coach. Forget the word management. I hate that word. Management is like a leadership. You know what a good coach was for me? He was like a second dad. He cared about me. He knew my mom, he knew my sister. He freaking celebrated my birthday. Man, we got to know each other. He asked about my dad all the time. He always shook everybody's hand. He was a mentor in life. He wasn't a manager, he was a coach. And when you get a good coach, you've seen players from high school go to college and all of a sudden they got a really good coach that cares. And all of a sudden they become an MVP. You've seen MVPs go to crap because of their coach. And if you get a coach that knows how to build the team up. I got a guy in another market. I won't go into names. I won't go into a lot of details. But, man, we had a market that was falling apart. And there was like 15 guys here. And there was a lot of animosity, a lot of anger, a lot of regret, a lot of bad emotion. And he went in there, and he said, hey, Mike, one of the regional managers, he said, I want to get a barbecue. He goes, I'm going to start barbecuing for the guys every day. Is that okay? He says, sure, if you want to. Started barbecuing, started doing ride-alongs, started barbecuing for other companies because we're right next to the supply house.
Right.
All of a sudden, the guys started to pour in, and we started getting better and better employees. The morale changed dramatically.
All over barbecue.
Oh, my gosh. Well, barbecues, and then this guy comes into my office the other day. He's talking to me. And he goes, man, I love that manager. I said, what makes you feel so loyal to this guy all of a sudden so quickly? He goes, dude, he knew I was going through a hard time. You know what he did? He bent over and grabbed out his wallet and took out $500 and said, pay me back when you can. He goes, I've never had anybody in my life do that. And I said, that's freaking awesome. Those are the kind of leaders I want. I want somebody that's willing to take the shirt off. You said Eaters Eat Last. That's a great book. That is a great book. And he's a leader. And the more leaders we get in this business that understand and care, that the more you give, the more you get. You know, that's just the way it works.
Well, I think that, leadership is constantly evolving. And I think people have to be constantly evolving to be better leaders. And how do you coach yourself as being disciplined in what you have going on as much as being coached to move on? When you look at where your growth is going, what do you see the biggest challenge in getting there?
You know what I got to tell you is I'm going to a lot of uncharted territory that I've never been. There's not books. There's a lot of books that help me get to here, but there's not a lot of books, and you can tell I love to read, but there's not a lot of books that teach you how to come up with the best acquisition deal for every single company. There's not a one-size-fits-all. So I've identified one of the things is there's a thing called quality of earnings and diligence period. And I'll tell you, Bill, you talk to companies and they go, I want $4 million. And I'm like, did you just $4 million? Like, where the hell did you come up with that number? I go, you take your EBITDA and it comes from a multiple. So it's really, really hard because they say, well, look, Tommy, look what you're going to do with it. So I think getting the businesses to understand the win-win and that I care and that I want to leave their team intact. I'm not saying that there won't be a point that if your stepbrother is part of the business and he's not doing his job and he's creating this negative spiral for everybody, I'm not saying he'll always have his job, but I'll do what's right and we'll confer you before we do it. But I think that piece is really tough. And I think, I'll tell you what's really been bothering me is a little bit of uncertainty in the economy and a little bit of uncertainty with what's going to happen is the commoditization of Facebook, Google, and Amazon are getting more involved. I'm not a fearful guy. In fact,
talk a little more about that. We talked a little bit about it earlier today. As far as your thought process with regards to, let's say for the sake of argument, kind of you like utilizing the medallion as far as where the medallion was, how Uber and Lyft changed it, where are they heading with that?
Well, what they want to do is they want a piece of everything. So what happened with Uber and Lyft? Uber and Lyft came out. It was here's the thing. You got to ask yourself one question. What is best for the end user? If commoditization is good, because if I can get my house fixed and I don't have to worry about price and it's coming from a price house and I just say, Google, give me the best, I hope nothing responds in this room, but Google, give me the best of, AC repair, then that's better for the end user. So that's going to happen because whatever best, it always does find a way.
Right.
Innovation is bred through capitalism, and that's what's going to happen. As long as it's survival of the fittest, and if it's better for the end user, it happens like that. So Uber and Lyft was much better than the taxis. Taxis rip people off. It was $40 in New York to go, 2 miles. There's traffic and stuff, but Uberization changed the way we do things, and they thought they could Uberize it, and it's taken them longer than they thought because it's a skilled trade. Now, here's what they'll do. They'll get rid of the dispatcher. They'll get rid of the CSR. They'll control the review to make sure there's no fake reviews, and they'll control the complete parts house, so the supply chain. And it's going to happen quicker than people understand because this whole thing going on with the whole pandemic, this is what's happening right now. You look at the largest garage door opener manufacturer in the world, Chamberlain. They own over 70% of the market share, okay? 70% in North America. They just got bought by a little company called Blackstone. Blackstone is a mammoth,
Right.
Okay? Now, why would Blackstone buy a garage door manufacturer, opener manufacturer? Well, here's a little thing they built into the technology. Is every time there's an error that happens on your garage door, there's a text message that's fired out to the company that installed it, unless, 99% of the companies don't put that number into the system. So guess who owns that data? And even they own the data regardless. Guess who they're partners with? Amazon. Mm-hmm. So guess what? Amazon's going to own the marketplace because it's simple, it's easy, and Amazon already does. Are you on Prime?
Yeah.
Are you on Prime? Are you on Prime? Everybody here is on Prime. They've already got everything worked out. They own the supply chain. So if you don't think it's going to happen, so I'll tell you this, they're always going to need me, and here's why. I can make technicians. I can recruit them. I've got the vans. I've got the technology. Here's what Amazon wants. They want you to have a geo-tagged all the stuff, take a picture, background check. Problem is most guys don't even know, at most companies in this industry, the average plumber is 49 now. They don't understand how to take this and it's geo-tagged and it takes a picture and they hit arrive and all these different things. My company, we love service center. We love CRMs. We love technology. We embrace it. So they need me because I've got a whole pool of people across the United States already, and I can make 100 a month. I could get to the point where I can make 200 a month. So, but as far, I'm a platform. Most companies are not going to need. They're going to go like this. If you're a decent worker, you better have a clean background check. You better be able to do a drug test because you're going into our customers' houses. Now they're their customers. They're no longer A1s. I'm working for Amazon now. They've already cut out the middleman. I commoditize, and it's going to happen. So I'm not afraid of it. I just would say that when you're changing that fast, and you saw what happened to New York taxi drivers, the medallion went from $1 million a medallion. That's to be able to have an exclusivity to drive in a certain amount of medallions. All of a sudden down to $125,000 for one. And they lost big time. All of them lost. Okay? People used to look at the New York medallion and that would tell you how the economy's doing.
It was the gold standard.
It was the gold standard. Now guess what? So people don't think it's going to happen. You're wrong.
You know, it's interesting because, you know, one of the things that we saw, right, is that home service-based businesses did one of two things from March of 2020 till today.
They either sunk or they did more marketing.
They did more marketing. Talk to us a little bit about what your thought process was when the pandemic hit, outside of the little flu you might have had, and what you did to change up where your marketing direction kind of went.
You know, it was scary at first because I thought the Corona everybody thought it was kind of a joke. There was like Corona bottles and it was like, then all of a sudden it got really, really serious, really, really quick. And we took an Excel sheet out, we took every employee and we did a worst case scenario. We started to go through each and every, it was scary for a little bit, but you know, I thought I might be running jobs again. Worst case scenario. We were going to let the company get destroyed. But there's one thing I do know, and I'll explain the marketing side in a minute, is I was on a scary flight one time, Bill. And I'm telling you, dude, I've been on a lot of flights. But this flight was different. This flight, the lights were flickering, the oxygen mask came down, and it felt like we were dropping 10 floors at a time. And I'm going, at first I was like, I'm good with this turbulence. Then I'm like, then all of a sudden then I started to pray, and the lady's screaming next to me. Drinks are flying in the air. The lady's holding the thing real tight because we're going, and I'm like, please come on the PA. Please come on the PA. Pilot, what's happening? And 20 minutes later, lights come back on. Hey, guys, we experienced some of the worst turbulence I've been in a while, but we're all good. And I go, let me see this pilot. And the point that I took out of that flight is everybody wants to know what's going on. You want to know as the shit's hitting the storm, what's happening. So I sent out an email every day, or I did a little video, and Adam and I worked together to make sure everyone knew what was going on.
Right.
And you know what? We had enough money. We said we're not going to let any employee go for this long, but we've only got so much in the bank and so much. So you could. So I had guys. I had a whole team of guys at our apartments that we owned that the people fly into. They were working on the AC units, cleaning them up, changing the filters. We were painting stuff. I didn't have enough business to keep us busy, so I found stuff to do. But what happened is Mike called me in Milwaukee, and he goes, hey, listen, dude, there's this TV lady, and she's on like 5 channels. You might have heard of her. And I'm like, yeah, I've met her 2 years ago. She's awesome. She's like, she's giving us a price for like 1/5 of the price. Do you mind if I just try this commercial out? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And it murdered it. And then all of a sudden, I just did it in every market. And then we started doing more and more. Then the PPP came out and said, hey, guys, we'll pay you to get more people employed. And then it was like, holy crap, we're getting it at 1/5 of the price with 5 times the viewership. That's 2,500% ROI than it usually is. And we attacked. And now we're over 400 employees. We were down at 160 when it started. Think about that. 160 to 400 since it started. So now it's like, and now it's not a fluke. Now we've refined our processes. Now we capitalize on our booking rate, our average ticket, our conversion rate on service and sales. We look at our cost per acquisition. Now it's a science. And we had to go through this. We had to go through because before it was easy. Now it was like, listen, let's focus on all the KPIs, all the numbers. We need to really be calculated on this stuff. And what I've learned now is like, we're getting awesome people. That's the key. They're amazing. I mean,
And
you
it'll-
meet these people, you're just going to be like, holy crap.
So, we've had obviously a great day today. Spending some time talking on different things as far as business strategy. When you look at what's influenced your career, is there a kind of guiding principle that you can look and say, hey, this influenced me to take that next step? Because there's a lot of people that are going to be on the podcast that are going to viewership, and they're going to be at 5, 7, 9 employees, and they're saying, hey, I want to get to 2, 3, 5, 9, 15 million. What's something that you would say that influenced you to take that next step?
Well, I don't lead my life out of fear. I'm a big dreamer, and I'm willing to take more chances than most people. I mean, look, I bought the crap out of Bitcoin on a whim, knowing that I had the faith that I didn't use money that I could not afford to lose, number one. Number two is you got to go for it. Don't look back. And you know what? Go all in. And if you make a mistake, don't make the same mistake twice. But I will tell you this. I've recognized my weaknesses, and I decided I'm never going to work on my weaknesses as much. I decided to get Bree and now Fern that help manage my schedule. And if you look at my Google Calendar, it's dialed in. I decided to help them get me organized. They're organizing right now. I decided to find some really good people in the finance department that love pivot tables, that understand the accounting systems better than I ever want to. I said, let me be an influencer. Let me influence the people around me. Let me be a good leader. Let me work on my marketing skills. Let me work on my sales. Let me smile more. Let me be a good, if you will, like parent to some of these employees that didn't have that.
Do you think you became more the mayor than the sheriff?
I think so. I'm definitely the mayor. I'm definitely not the guy. I don't fire. I don't really, that's not me. Look, I love what I do, and I like people to say I work for that guy because I love him, not because I have to.
So when overall you look at where your growth is, and you've talked about great employees, finding more leads, okay? We know who you're going to target as far as the acquisition model that you're going to go after. When it comes to marketing, right? One of the things that I see even in the home service space, they don't pay attention to it. It's not the focal point for them. And I understand that you have to make a decision where your business goes.
Yep.
To take it from being a technician to being an entrepreneur, okay? How much has marketing played that influence in where you've gone with A1?
I'll tell you this. I don't care how good you are at operations and accounting and finance. Without sales and without marketing, you're nothing. There's two things that I focused on, marketing and sales. And believe it or not, sales and marketing will trump everything in the business if you know how to market right. But I look at marketing, and when I break it down, I say, how much money do you want to do? They say $10 million. I say, what's your average ticket? They say $500. I say, okay, so we need 2,000, whatever. We figure out the math, 2,000. Then I reverse engineer that, divide that by your conversion rate, divide that by your booking rate, and then multiply that by your acquisition cost. That's how much money. But when I turn these little knobs, all of a sudden it gets so much better. And operations does play a role, but man, I'll tell you this. I feel bad for the guys. I'm at these conventions of these huge garage stores, and they're like, they expect us to answer our phones past 6 o'clock and be open Sundays. Don't they know we have a life too? And I'm like, what city are you in? Because I'm coming to that city soon. Because garage doors don't break when you want them to. They break when they want to. And people need to get out of their garage. Some of them are doctors. Some of them are pastors. Some of them are doing things on the weekend. And we got to be available. And when we start off interviewing somebody, we say, listen, unfortunately, this isn't a 9 to 5, but there's a lot of cool things that come with it. But we're going to show you the bad stuff first.
It's interesting that you talk about the 9 to 5 because I've got a client that's growing at an extremely fast pace, okay? And he wants to grow even faster.
Yeah.
But he obviously he wants work-life balance too for his employees, right? And so you can only get so many calls between 9 and 5.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
So you can only get so many calls. Think about it. And we had this conversation where we said, listen, if you open it up, right, and you get a kick-ass answering service that's going to take it, you put Schedule Engine on your site that'll allow you to direct book it on the client's time, right? That's an extra 30 hours a week that you could be putting time in, especially when his LSAs are killing it right now.
I was the first guy on service tight and garage doors, and the first guy ever on schedule engine in the home service space. Boom! Said it. Just my team.
So here's what I'd like to do. We have a thing here called the final roar. And the final roar is your opportunity, right, to give a minute, 2-minute dialogue, what you would tell Tommy Mello when he was starting out, that's going to help him to get where he is right now.
Yeah. All right, here you go, Tommy. Check this out. Number one is I want you to be an avid reader. I want you to read these books. I want you to read Michael Gerber's E-Myth Revisited. I want you to read The Richest Man in Babylon, read The Ultimate Sales Machine. I need you to read all 3 of these religiously. I want you to start reading the Bible a little bit too, believe it or not. The student Bible. I don't need you learning, the old school stuff. I want you to focus on the New Testament. What I really want you to do is start having some common peace with yourself. Here's the thing is, when you get older, you're going to learn to love work. But don't chase the golden goose. Just enjoy yourself every single day. Have fun with your coworkers. That's what it's all about. I want you to take some leadership courses, and I want you to become a better communicator, because right now you're not very good. But most of all, the thing that I want you to pay attention to is it's a bad word for you right now, but focus on culture. Focus on the people, giving back, making sure you get to know them, because they'll work 10 times harder for you. They won't turn over. They won't leave you. They'll be by your side for the whole fight. And when they're by your side, you can reward them and you can let them accomplish their dreams, because guess what, Tommy? No one cares what happens to you. It's about their lives too. And when you let them win and let them get their dreams and their kids' dreams and everybody around them, and the dreams are coming true, you're going to feel so much better about yourself. And you're going to smile every time you look in the mirror, and you're going to become a better person. I know you're a cocky little 28-year-old right now. And you know what? Things are going pretty good for you, but guess what? They're going to get better in your near future. So keep your head up and stay working hard. And hey, do me a favor. Start working out a little more. This 38-year-old body is not what it used to be.
And believe me, I'm gonna transition out at that one. But listen, thank you so much for being on the Lion's Den. Thank you so much for having us out here to A1 Garage Doors. And everybody, check out Tommy's podcast. You can find it at the Home Service Millionaire.
Home Service Expert.
Home Service Expert. Books of Home Service Millionaire. And so you can also get that on Amazon. Where else can you get it?
You can get it on Audible or go to homeservicemillionaire.com/free. A little bit of shipping cost, but it's a good book, yeah.
All right. Well, we truly appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks, brother.
Thank
Appreciate you.
All right.